Hi, I'm Cecily Korst. Welcome to the trailer.
The Trailer Talks is sponsored by Imaging DNA. Check them out at imagingdna.com.
Did you know that when parents are asked what they would do if they had one extra...
Hey everybody, this is Mike Mataluni from the Kick-Ass Dad podcast.
And I love the podcast, and it is too awesome.
You know, it just kind of started as a passion project, and we started having a lot of fun with it. And, you know, I thought it was just going to be for dads. Like, I got into this and I was like, okay, so I need to niche market myself. I have some experience. My wife and I were foster parents. We had 7 foster kids over a 2-year period, and we're child advocates, and this is a passion for us. So how can we bring this passion and kind of share some of the experiences we've had and share that? And so, me being a dad, I was like, okay, I can share with other dads. I can connect with other dads. And I found that so many women are starting to listen to the podcast. And one of the funny thing is because, we are doing the jam sessions now. And I think women really enjoy hearing that inside, that talk that men don't often share with women, that we kind of hide from women. And so hearing that from, different kinds of guys from different backgrounds with different ideas and upbringings really kind of, and we have so much fun, and we completely fuck with each other, and it's a blast, and we have a great time with it.
Oh yeah, no, that's exactly why we listen to your podcast.
You're not the only one who does it. Who else does it with you?
No, I've actually got 3 partners: Brandon Acosta, Chris Eischen, and David Pagan. And I started it just in my garage as a passion project, and then as soon as it started to gain some traction, we started to bring my partners in, and it's just exploded ever since.
And it is so freaking fun. I can't even tell you.
We like to have a good time. It's, one of the things when we started it, it was really just about, it was content driven. It was really about helping parents with personal development, starting to create, bring a little more passion, a little more energy, a little more fun into their lives. And then, we started doing panels, and we started bringing, some different voices and some different ideas in. And now it's a blast. We have a great time with it.
It is too fun. So tell me about you've got different podcasts, different types of podcasts that you do.
We do. We have 3 shows a week. We have a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday show. The Monday show is
crazy schedule. That is a crazy schedule.
If I was screen sharing right now with you and I pulled up my schedule, you would think it was an abomination. It is disgusting. But we have fun, and that's the thing. It's like if it was something that I hated, or if it was something that I didn't like to do, then I wouldn't. It would be gross to look at. But I look at my schedule and I'm like, man, I get to talk to all these amazing people today. So it's awesome. So we do 3 podcasts a week. The Monday show is called Jam Sessions, which generally is myself, Brandon, and David. And this is kind of our shit show for the week. And so what we do is we talk about real world problems in the trenches, down and dirty. And, from there, we go into our expert of the week, and we bring in somebody who actually has some knowledge about something of interest. And that's our Wednesday show. And then our Friday show is more about personal development. That's the Full Circle show that I do with Chris Eischen. And we really talk about what it is that we can do. What practice are we working on this week to be a better person, to be a better parent, to be more passionate, fun, energetic. And that's kind of how the show evolved.
How old are your kids?
My kids are 10. I've got twins, a boy and a girl, and a 8-year-old. So they are extremely challenging and trying at times. But they're so much fun. And, I'm the kind of dad that likes to get on the floor, wrestle and play. And, I'll do tea parties, and they'll dress me in hats and sunglasses and necklaces. And, so I have fun with that sort of thing.
Right, and I love the way on your podcast you don't necessarily talk about moms and dads, although you do, you talk about dads specifically, but you also talk about parents and humans and adults and kids, and it's not necessarily gender specific. Although when you do get into the gender specific stuff, it's hysterical.
It is, and I'm glad you say that, because sometimes I'll like upload something and I'll just be like, and I'll just cringe like, oh shit. Just waiting for the fallout, like who's going to hear this and who's going to be like, who the hell are you? So, so it's fine. And I get it, because that's what it is, and I'm okay with that. So it's taken a while, because I actually was petrified when I first started podcasting, and I'm in the garage, and I wrote my material, and it's all very, the material I wrote was all very personal development oriented and really focused on helping people, start to figure out what they're passionate about, what they love to do, so they can live their life with some more energy, some more purpose, less monotony. And so that was the driving force. And it wasn't until a little later that I started to realize I could really have some fun with this, bring some different people and have some different conversations and get to the heart of where people are coming from, why they're coming from, and just have a great time with each other and laugh. And I think that's medicine. Laughter is, to me, that's where you can let go of preconceived notions, preconceived beliefs, and all get on the same level. And that's the joy of what we're doing.
So you have a day job still.
Yes, I have a day job. Well, it's actually a night job. I'm a restaurant manager, so I work mostly nights, but it does give me an opportunity to do a lot of interviews during the day and work with people who have normal human hours, and whereas I have vampire hours, which is fine. I mean, I've been doing it for, 20 years now, so perfectly happy with it. And I love because I'm in the hospitality business, right? So that, to be honest with you, that's probably one of the biggest things that prepared me for being able to do a podcast, interview people, really, kind of empathize with people and where they're coming from. So, taking that skill set and applying it to podcasting was actually really beneficial for me. And I love people, and that's, so it's the, for having to do a big boy job, that would be a job that I'm happy doing and thrilled doing. Would I love to do this full time, in the future? Absolutely.
So what resonates most with your audience?
We have different demographics. We have demographics that come to us for the self-help. We have demographics that come to us for, understanding what coaching really is. We teach a lot about coaching instead of lecturing to our kids. And then we have people that come to us just for the fun, just because we get crazy, we get wild, and they love to hear the locker room talk, I guess.
I love the jam sessions. I do. I binge listen to them. Guilty pleasure. Awesome.
That's awesome. Well, at least if Brandon, David, and I can give you any sort of guilty pleasure, we're pleased to.
So what was last year's pinch me moment for you?
Okay. Well, I guess it was having, one of the things that kind of pushed me into doing the podcast. I was listening to the Kick-Ass Life, which is a podcast by David Wood, and I was listening to it habitually. And one of the things he always said was, do what successful people do. So I was like, all right, I'll do what successful people do. I'm going to jack your title. So I did that. And I called my podcast Kick-Ass Dad, and it was self-development. And so totally jacked his title. And then, so, my big, hairy, audacious goal is to create community centers in the inner city that teach kids about art, music, sustainable agriculture, really giving the best of society back to the kids who need it most to help leverage their talent so they can get out of poverty. And so having an opportunity to kind of develop those goals. And then I went to David Wood, who from the Kick-Ass Life, and I said, hey, David, I'm really interested in interviewing you, and I didn't hear anything back. And so I was like, and I emailed him again. I'm like, so I got this great bit of advice that you should never give up on asking people to do, to come on your show. Like, totally jacked that from him too. And so he's like, I'm in, Michael. I got it. I get it. And so he came on my show, and we had such a great show that he invited me back to do his show. So, really having the opportunity to create some intentionality behind what I'm doing and say, you know what, David Wood's going to be on my show, I'm going to be on his show. And then, and then just creating these bigger and bigger goals, and then actually achieving those goals is, that's a pinch me moment.
So what's the most difficult thing that you've had to do getting to Kick-Ass Dad so far?
Putting the microphone in front of my mouth and speaking into it, I would have to say. That was probably the scariest part. And then, the small investments here and there, starting a website and, with literally no financial, no idea of any financial recoup whatsoever, just knowing that I was putting this out there just as a passion project, but, just stepping into it. And, so now just being able, I'm looking at my board behind this, behind the computer right now, and it's got a product purchase flow chart. I've got podcast, a homepage, to free offer, to, and I've got all these different products that we're offering now. So to see it evolve from, that really scary point to actually being on the cusp of, being an entrepreneur who actually makes money to fund my passion project it's a pretty amazing transformation.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And people do get nervous about, putting themselves out there on a microphone, because it is just you and Mike and your public, and you're like, what if people hate me? Well, what if they do? Who cares? I've had plenty of thumbs down on my videos.
And just to your point, if you're not, if you can take the thumbs down and go and think, you know what, for every hater I have or every person who doesn't like what I do, I have 10 that are going to like what I do, that I'm going to resonate with, then you're in a good place, because you're never going to be loved by everybody. If we're trying to people please, and that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of people are like in depressive states of mind, and I've certainly been there, because they try to please everybody. And that's just not conducive to creativity. And to your point, that's what your podcast is all about. It's about creativity. I mean, if you're not really going out there after what's going to make you creative, then, you're not going to be happy. And if you're worried about, the thumbs down, then you're not going to be creative.
So what's the hardest part about what you do?
Maintaining my schedule. Scheduling everything, keeping everything in order. I'm a kind of a Mac junkie when it comes to my schedule, my phone and my computer, and all my schedules are synced up. But I'm not, I don't have the virtual assistant yet. So I'm like, really doing pretty much all of this on my own. One of the beautiful things is I've brought in a team of people to help me, and I've got an amazing group of partners. I mean, we're all equal cut. This is our business, and so they support me and they really help me get through those obstacles. But I'm still looking for a very inexpensive virtual assistant. So if anybody has any ideas,
right. So what is success for you in the future?
Well, I guess, I'm an entrepreneur. I believe that an entrepreneur's goal is to solve people's problems. And then, I've always thought of money as kind of I was taught that money was the root of all evil. And now I've come to the realization that money is simply an exchange of energy. So, solving people's problems, taking on, profiting from it, and then doing more good in the world. Again, my BHAG is to create these community centers that help kids. And so that's my goal, but that's my big goal. My short-term goal is to begin to fund and finance this business so that it has wheels of its own, so that I can do it full time.
So what is the one thing that you think everyone should know about living a creative life?
Do not listen to the dream stealers. I actually did an entire episode on this very thing, because people do not like to see people around them succeed, because it makes them feel like a failure. And not all people feel that way, but it's certainly something that I've experienced in my life. And there's an analogy for it. It's why do you not put the lid on a bucket of crabs? And it's because once that one crab tries to get out, there's a crab right behind him to pull him back down. So, my best piece of advice for anybody is to don't listen to the dream stealers when it comes to following your dream, following your creativity, and then do your best to support other people's dreams and their creativity, because it will come back to you. I do believe in karma. I think everything comes full circle, and the energy you put out there will be the energy you get back in your life. So spend some time, creating your own dreams and lifting other people up in their dreams.
Yeah, I hate to see people compare themselves to others, because everybody's in a different place.
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of like, relax.
It's going to be okay.
Well, and we all do it. We all do it, right? Or we all like compare. And that was one of the things that, I really learned in my personal development journey, was not to, look up, like aspire high, but compare low. Like don't compare yourself to like somebody who you aspire to be. Compare yourself to where you were yesterday, compare yourself to where you were 6 months ago. You're going to have a lot more gratitude for how far you've come. And that gratitude is going to give you energy. That energy is going to create a lot more momentum for you in your life.
Where can people find out more about you?
You can find us at kickassdad.org or kickassdadblog.com. You can also find us on iTunes, 3 words, kickassdad. You can find us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at kickassdad1. You can find our YouTube channel at youtube.com/kickassdad1. And we love to hear from our listeners. We love for folks to get involved. And it's not a podcast that's a one-way street. It's we take listener feedback and we talk about it on the show. So thanks.
Well, hey, thanks very much for being on the Trailer Talks. I really appreciate it.
Yes, anytime.
Cool. And we're out.
Am I too shiny at all coming off the right side?
You know, I'm not really that picky.
Okay. That's what I like to hear from a woman. I'm not picky. That helps me a
Not
lot.
that picky. What stays in Vegas goes on the internet. That's
Right.
Isn't that what Scott's friend said?
What happens in Vegas goes directly online. It's directly uploaded to YouTube and iTunes.
And Twitter.
That's the way it was meant to be. And Twitter,
Oh,
of course,
Twitter.
obviously.
It's crazy.